So you may remember in a video a few weeks ago, I released a new album, and I've been releasing a lot of albums. As a matter of fact, this album is the 36th song of the year, and we're just getting into May so far that I have released, mostly in albums. I'll be releasing some new singles here in the next week or two, and I have many more albums coming. But I had an Easter release called Hymns Near the Cross, and you may remember it. I'll bring it up here. It's basically an album of church hymns that have to do mainly with Easter, and I released that on DistroKid, and I used this. And I'm going to be referring back to this quite a bit because this is how I released it. Let me share that with you now. I don't want to do that. I'll share this screen here. So this is what's called a hyperfollow page. And this is the page that I used to direct Facebook ads and Instagram ads to, and really directed everybody to see this album. And let me get back to my screen here. And as you can see, it has the album cover right up there. It has the name of the album and the name of my brand, and then it has a little bit about me, and then it has social media things under there. More about this in a second. I want to talk about what's on this screen. But you can also see it goes ahead and fills in some of the things: Spotify, Apple Music, Bandcamp, and actually it filled in Spotify, Apple Music, and iTunes because it fills in the things that are up already through DistroKid. I took out things like Deezer and things like that. I just didn't leave those in. And I put in Bandcamp because I had put the album on Bandcamp. And I put the album on, and the album was on YouTube, but they didn't have a YouTube Music at the time. Now, here's the downside of this particular hyperfollow thing. I get afraid, and when I look at the stats, I get afraid that not as many people would, it's too many choices. There's social media links to click. There's Spotify, there's Apple Music, YouTube, Bandcamp. At one point I had the Amazon link on here. It's too many things. It's too many things for people to click. And we're going to take a look at the stats in a moment. But as far as on Spotify for artists and see some of the spikes there. But I probably should not have gone that far with all these links. And that's a mistake that you can be careful that you don't make this mistake, because you can make it. But anyway, that's kind of what I want to talk about. And I'm just going to turn that off for now, because the next thing I want to talk about real quick before we get too far in is I have a new ebook. And this ebook is called Tools to Make Music Income. Actually, the ebook is called Tools to Make Music and Make Music Income. This was inspired by my video last week, which I'll put in a link here when we're done with this. That goes to my video about DAWs that you can use. A lot of people need a DAW to use and have not found the right one, or just don't have the money to buy the one they want. And so I put this ebook together with a bunch of links, and a bunch of links also to free sounds and all sorts of places that you can find new stuff to help you make music income. So you can find that, and also you can find all my ebooks on my website, and the links are below in there, and I will just go ahead and put a banner together for that. But I really make these ebooks so that you can quickly go in and read information. I am working on a course, but I think that it's important that you are able to get info quick, and I'm keeping this in mind, believe me, when I am designing these ebooks and these courses. I want these to be easy, fast resources for you. So you can see all the things I have. I have the do income check, do everything checklist. I just redid a new cover for that. It's very cute. 50 ways to make music income. The Pond 5 upload course, I just did a new cover for that. And you can also get the the ubiquitous style, form, and instrumentation of corporate stock music. If you care about that kind of thing, for some reason, it's very popular. I'm not really sure why everyone likes this this paper that I wrote in my master's degree, but everybody seems to like it. So take a look at that. If you want free stuff, you can find that at makemusicincome.com/free, always free, and go get some info there. All right, so let's get back to album marketing. So how did I do? Let's first talk about how I got ready to market, because the first thing I did was I put everything into DistroKid, and there is a link for DistroKid below if you want to use DistroKid for distribution or check them out. I also have videos about them. I should probably put that down below too. But the way that I got started in marketing these songs, once they were up on Spotify, I was ready to go. I did quite a few things. But I first got ready to do Facebook and Instagram ads. This is the easiest and fastest way, I think, to get strangers. And to be honest, I would almost rather have strangers looking at the stuff than friends and family, because you can ask friends and family to take a look at your music, but unless they are, it's just not going to be, it's going to be a lot of work to try to get people who may or may not be interested watching or listening to your music. And so, okay, well, announce yourself, lurkers. So I have just tried harder to reach strangers. I want people who don't know me to be listening to my music and be finding my music, and new listeners and new followers and all that kind of stuff. So I think Facebook, Instagram ads are the best bang for the buck. If you're going to spend money, and you don't have to spend a lot, you'll see I didn't spend a lot. You need to use Facebook and Instagram ads. They do work. So the first thing I did was build the hyperfollow page. And like I said, I wanted to build a page that everybody could find whatever link worked for them. I think that's kind of a secret in marketing, is sometimes, or at least I thought it was, and I'm still not sure if it was or not. I sent most of my people who are on my list, people who are part of my my sites, my people who are on our Discord, people who are on my mailing list. I sent all of this stuff, friends and family. I sent all of them to something like this, where they could find the place where they wanted to download the music or listen or stream the music or whatever. And so that's where I put it. I also made a little video, and DistroKid has some really neat video tools, and I use those. And I showed those to you in the last video, but I can show those to you here again. Let's see, where is that? That is at DistroKid. And I'm just going to change this on the fly here and let you see my DistroKid pages. And this is one reason why I keep loving DistroKid so much, because I just think they have the best tools for this kind of promotion. But they have these mini videos, and I showed these last time. And these little mini videos, you can put your basically your album art on any of these videos, and it will basically let everybody see kind of here. Let's see what this all looks like here. We'll let everybody see the album cover, but also hear some music playing, and then this background kind of moves a little bit. And I think we can see mine if I just go to my videos, and if you pick one, I think you can go to your videos here. I'm not really sure what my videos are, but you could pick a song, and so I picked one of those songs off that album, and I told it where it was, and it generated a little mini video. And that mini video, let's just take a look at this at the cross video. This is the video that I used to play while I was, no idea if you can hear that or not. So just a little 20-second video that lets you be able to put this video anywhere you want. You can download the video, and then you can put it on Facebook and use it as your video that's the ad that pops up. And you can see I did a tall ad here. I did not do a wide ad. I did a tall up and down ad for vertical phones, and I put that on Facebook and Instagram. And I keep saying Facebook and Instagram because I did it actually on Facebook, but it puts it out to my Instagram account as well. And so Instagram and Facebook both get the ad. Let me see if I got any comments here. Shane says, when I did a Facebook ad when we first released our praise and worship EP and got quite a few negative responses from people who had no interest in religious music, I tried to target, narrow target, but no look. Yeah, it's hard, I will tell you, Shane, because Facebook has taken out all of the ways to narrow down people who are the least bit religious, or at least bit the Christian religious, at least. I was not able to, I had to market basically to piano players, piano teachers, piano people, and because it's a piano album, and maybe classical as well, but there are not many ways to narrow this down. Sometimes you can get lucky. I just did a recent ad for a client, and we used a video, and he has rock and very hard rock music type of stuff, and we were able to find some bands, some Christian bands that sounded like him, and put those in. So you're able to get those audiences, and you know they're going to be okay with that type of music. And so anyway, that is, it is hard, and I did have that a little trouble getting that over to. I haven't seen any negative responses yet, but I'm not even sure where to see them. If you, Shane, if you have a place that you saw that those negative responses on the ad, tell me where that was, because another client has mentioned that lately. So I did that. I made that video. By the way, this video is not sponsored by DistroKid. I tried to get them to sponsor it, but I did use that video, and it works well. That's a good video to use. It plays a little bit of the music. It's interesting to look at. It shows the album cover, and it gets people over, or at least clicking on the ad. I did very well with the prices. So let's talk about now how I track the results. So I track the results in Spotify for Artists. So if we look at Spotify for Artists, and I go to my roster here, I'll show this to you in just a second once I get to the page. Spotify for Artists is a great tool, and there are others, by the way. It's not just Spotify that offers artist type ways to see your information. But let me go ahead and share this with you. Spotify for Artists is a great thing to have. It's another absolutely crucial tool to have if you're going to try to see what's going on with your streams. So right away, we can see the streams here. Now, I want to caution all of you who are watching this video right now. These are not going to be thousands of streams, hundreds of streams. Well, they are hundreds of streams, but this is not going to blow your socks off, because this is a brand that is, it's not that it's new. I just haven't pushed it a lot through the years. I make the music, and I used to make CDs on these, and I would put them out. And so these numbers this was an experiment to see if Facebook ads move the needle at all. I've got another video coming out soon about YouTube videos, and I can prove some major needle moving on that. And I want to talk about another way to send people to Spotify besides a hyperfollow or landing page that I'm a little confused about. And hopefully I'm going to get Tom Dupree or Andrew Southworth on here to talk about. But this is how I track the results. I looked at my Spotify for Artists page. It's a little limited how you can look at it, and so it's a little difficult to go back exactly where I want to go, because I released it on April 3rd. So I can't see back before here unless I go, you got last 7 days, last 28 days, since 2015. Well, not extremely helpful. I would like to be able to see something a little bit better than that. If you know a way, let me know. But you can see the streams all through time here. Here is where things start to go up for me in this graph. And I had a better one when I was closer out in this. But over here is where the graph started. And all this area of here, we're long past me having stopped the ad. I believe I stopped the ad right around here. And you can see all of this activity that happened. Now, some has happened since then. Now, people may have found the pages, or they may have gotten the email later or something like that. But I'm still getting batches of listeners and things like that. But there was a definite upswing when I announced the album and when I started the ad. And the ad did very well. It did as well as could be expected. As a matter of fact, when we go back to this, I'm going to go back and show you my hyperfollow. You can see that I did pretty well as far as getting people to it. Let's see if I can. I'm going to have to stop that screen and share another. But hyperfollow did pretty good. I'm going to show you this screen, but I got to go back to hyperfollow again. And to be honest with you, this might be the thing that kind of gets me to think more about DistroKid than any other distributor, because I feel like DistroKid gives me so many possibilities. So if we look here and marketing tools that they have, I haven't found that yet on other distributors that you don't have to pay extra for. But if we look at these ones, now ignore this one because I spelled cross wrong. So this one, I've tried to delete. I can hide it, I guess. Okay, so it says it's been hidden. It's still there. So you can see these two. I sent 1,251 people there. And this was the first one, which was, again, this one that we saw. And then I also did a second one about the second week or third week where I just wanted people to go to Spotify only. So I made this landing page. And it started to dawn on me that why do we even need the landing page? Why can't we just send people straight there? And I started to send people straight there, and I think it did a little better. Let's see. Yes. Houston says Apple Music for artists has the option to make a video song with the same tone. Yep. Oh, does it? I haven't seen that. And I did use Apple Music for artists, and I did see some immediate or early returns there until I changed it to a Spotify only ad. So yes, thank you so much. Appreciate that. Yeah, Apple for Artists has good tools. Amazon for Artists has good tools. And of course, YouTube did pretty well. YouTube Music, I should say. And you could see a lot of those. So as a matter of fact, I can kind of look at some of those. So if I go to YouTube, and I go to the YouTube link I have on here, I believe it goes to the Quiet Soul Piano page, or it just goes to the album here. And you can see all the views that each one of these got. And it's not crazy, but again, it did get a bunch of views throughout that time, throughout the last month. Apple Music is here, and it takes people here. You can't necessarily see the views here. Not sure if I have my Apple for Artist thing up here. But anyway, getting back to how I could tell, I could look at this, and I could look at Apple for Artists, and I could look at Amazon for Artists, and I did see, especially in this first week, a great huge push. Now, the problem is, here's the problem. I kind of also told everybody to go see it from my webpage, from my email list, from Discord, friends and family on Facebook. So I probably should have done that and watched the results before I run an ad. So when you're going to release something, I might recommend that instead of doing your ads right away, if you're also going to do other things, like you're going to direct people there through Facebook, through friends and family, if you're going to direct people to your Spotify and all your links by an email list, if you're going to send them through lots of things, the thinking is that you want to get as many people going out and seeing this new release as possible, as fast as possible. And so that was my thinking. And maybe that's not a bad way of thinking. But to really tell how your Facebook ads are working, you've got to do some different kind of trackings. And one thing I didn't do that I'll get to a little later is use the Facebook Pixel and do all the kinds of crazy machinations that our friends Andrew Southworth and Tom Dupree III would do. And they would never dream of doing something like this without tracking it and all those kind of things. But I got such good rates. I was sending people there for less than 10 cents a click, and I thought that was great. Whenever I've done this for a long time, folks, I have been doing Facebook ads Instagram ads for 10 years at least for clients. We used to do it to get people to look at their Facebook pages. Then we did it to get people to go to their YouTube channels. And now we're doing it to get people to their streaming. But that's a good rate. I'm telling you, if you can get under 10 cents, dang good rate. And especially if you can verify it. And so I did see a big raise in there. Now, let's talk about something else that you probably want to know. Will I make my money back? Well, absolutely not. I mean, and to be honest with you, and this sounds weird, but why would I do this if I wasn't going to make my money back? Well, that's not really the point when you're doing this kind of thing. Your goal really is to grow your channel, grow followers, grow listeners that might then stick over there at Spotify. It's all well and good to get somebody who's on Instagram or Facebook to click over to Spotify. It's another thing to get them to stay on Spotify and keep listening to what you're doing. That's the whole point, right? That's the whole point to this. So will I make my money back? Well, likely not. And again, that's not necessarily what this experiment was about. It's not really, I mean, I would love to get to a point, and I've talked to Tom Dupree III, and I should put that video down in the comments below because he did tell me where the break-even point was for him. But those guys are spending $50 a day on some of these experiments for months on end. I can't afford to do that kind of thing. But my goal was really to advance the brand versus make money. I really wanted to watch the experiment. I wanted to see if this worked for me, see if I could report back to you that this did move the needle and that it continues to move the needle. And I'm not like trying to figure out if I should do Facebook and Instagram ads. They work. If you want to get people to a place, I still don't think there's any place better than Facebook and Instagram. It's where you get the biggest bunch of people and that you can hopefully get the people you're looking for. Arco asks, did you do an ad video like you asking to click on a link? Yeah, it is basically that ad video I showed you. And then they had a button that says listen more. Easton says, I did a video with Apple Music for artists for Instagram. Great. I'm gonna take a look at that. It sounds like it's a good thing, and it worked. Great. Good to hear. Said, I did Facebook ads same as you for more than 10 years. I agree. Good. Well, it's certainly something that I've always seen work, and you know, in this day where we don't have, Easton says, usually having people to come to your concerts is best. Well, sure, of course it is, because you've got them right there in the palm of your hand, and you can sell things to them. You can have them follow you. You can have them interact with you, and that's what you want. But I don't think that this was for that, and I'm sure I didn't do it right enough to get more people there. When my next album goes out, and the next brands that I have are very obtuse and not things that this brand, Quiet Soul Piano, has been around since 2009. I've had hundreds of thousands of listens on Spotify through the years. It's not made me a ton of money. It makes $20 every couple months or something like that. But it does have an audience. And some of these new brands I have do have zero audience. And so I'm going to be doing some more of these experiments when I can afford it. And I'm going to experiment with direct links directly to Spotify, like I do when I do a video push on Instagram and Facebook ads. I do a direct link to that video. And I think I'm going to do some direct videos to songs and to albums and see how that does. And maybe not push it as much out to friends and family and to lists and things, and see what kind of straight up data I can get and see of all that. Because many listens may have not been from the ads. And so I need to be a little bit more careful with that if I'm going to do this again and see how this works and report back to you how it works. So let's talk about what I didn't do. And this is a long list. As a matter of fact, let me just, before I talk about what I didn't do, let me talk about the final results. So eventually I just stopped spending. I kept looking at that, that audience, those markers, especially Spotify. When we talk a lot about getting stuff to streaming, we use the word Spotify a lot. And the reason we use Spotify is because that's really where we'd like people to be. So Spotify for artists is really the best way to see this data. And I may not even be looking at it. I know there are all sorts of things here, and I'm not very scientific about this. So I hope you'll excuse me. There are other channels for that, my friends. Go see Andrew Southworth if you want and Tom Dupree. Those guys are nerds, and they are doing this right, and they will give you details on how to do this kind of thing. I was mainly just trying to see if I could get some kind of engagement, if I could see it move the needle, and it certainly did. It didn't necessarily move it to my followers, but Andrew just talked about this on his channel, and that this is something that he doesn't necessarily see. It's a very small, so you really have to, you're hoping that this, your 190 followers are streaming the release or listening, but this is a great tool, and like we've said here already, Apple has this tool, Amazon for Artists has this tool, and you can see great things in YouTube as well, and you can see how this things. If you take a look at the listeners, you can see that I had more listeners in this week here, really, than I've had since then. And I think I stopped the ad somewhere around here, somewhere around the 22nd, I think, somewhere around this. But you could see this first week, that's when the most listeners were listening, and that's when the majority of the streams, and they kind of had some dips and big peaks and things like that. But this is a great tool, and that's it was great to see that it did move the needle. I'm happy with the results, especially Spotify, and I just don't worry that much about Apple and the others. Again, I would be rebuffed by the experts in ads because I didn't use the Pixel. Hyperfollow may not be the best landing page for these things. And the audience on this was severely limited by style. You have to like piano music and religious hymns. That's a small audience, folks. So I wasn't expecting it to be humongous. And then the other big part of these results was after Easter, it really dropped off. And so I probably should have started this a few weeks before Easter rather than the week before Easter, maybe the month before Easter. Maybe during the whole Lenten season I should start this, or first of the year I should start this, February, March. And if I'm going to push Easter again, because like Christmas, once Christmas Day is over, people aren't listening to Christmas music anymore. And same thing with Easter, although these hymns are a little bit more all year long. And let me just say this about hymns real quick. Hymns are what make me money on Motion Array every single year at Easter, Christmas, all through the year. Hymns are the gift that keep on giving with downloads for me. Pond 5, Audio Jungle, all over the place, especially Motion Array. I'm telling you, if you focus on certain things, patriotic songs, holiday songs, Easter songs, hymns, classical songs, things that people are always searching for, there's always a market for that. You may not get on the top staff picks and all that kind of stuff, but you will also though get consistent things that people are searching for. And just like YouTube videos or Google results, people who are searching for Easter songs, for hymns for Sunday morning, for Christmas songs, for patriotic songs. Right now, my patriotic songs are picking up across all the sites. So be careful that you spend some time on some arrangements of public domain things and get those up there, because they are happening. But overall, I'm happy with the final results. It is kind of easy just to dabble, which is a kind of a warning. I dabbled here. I did not do this. I need a stronger plan. I need a better, stronger plan for marketing. I should go watch and hire Tom Dupree or somebody like that to help me through that. But so let's talk about what I didn't do before we get done here today. First of all, I didn't really plan this campaign very well. I also, as I want to do, I messed around with the ad all the time. Every week I was messing around with it, changing the hyperfollow page, changing the link that they were going to go to, and changing the, I always do a lot of adjustment to the demographics to who the ad is going to make sure that that it's staying strong and getting cheaper. So like if it says women are listening to this more, I will push it more to women and less to men. If it says more people in their 40s and 50s are listening, I'll push it more to 40s and 50s and not so much to the other groups. That's kind of a trick for all of this, kind of pointing people to get people to listen on streaming or use to do these ads on Facebook. You have these demographics, and once they reach those demographics, you want those people listening that are the most people that are listening, you want to go ahead and just narrow that ad to them. Get them, if we're talking millions of people, like 20, 30 million people, let's make sure it's going to the people who we want it to, who are more likely to download it. And that's what our stats are telling us. So, but let's talk about other marketing I could have done, but didn't do. I could have done publicity. Now, this is expensive, but you could also do your own publicity. You could do your own emailing to people. You can get on podcasts. You can get on different shows, and you can get on blogs and different things like that, and do some publicity of your own, that this album's coming out, that it's on Spotify, that people can see it on Apple, that can go to YouTube, and you could do publicity things. I didn't do that, and again, this was more of a focus on streaming. You have radio, and YouTube has, Facebook. All of these places have a radio component, but Spotify certainly does. But I'm talking about radio stations that you would listen to, and I didn't do any of that. I could have done more ads. I could have done Google ads on YouTube and tried to get more people looking at stuff that way. Those are very cost efficient as well. They're just, for me, a little bit more difficult to do. I could have done YouTube videos. I could have sat down to the piano and played some of these out and had videos, and then suggested people would go to Spotify, but I have not found that's a great push. I don't find a ton of people who listen to stuff on YouTube. I'll then go to Spotify to listen. So I didn't do that, but I will be doing some more YouTube videos. I didn't do any ads for YouTube. I talked about that. I didn't do any live gigs in push of this. Somebody was just talking about live gigs here. And I didn't make hard copy, which I usually do. I will usually make CDs of my stuff, but I'm just not really thinking that CDs are something I can even push on people anymore. Even the people who like CDs aren't listening to them, and will a lot of times not even take them. So I didn't push Bandcamp. I didn't do all of that. I did not really work hard on the Quiet Soul Piano email list. I'm not doing a lot of things that I could do to make more money with this and off this release. And so making my money back off this album is a little on me, because I am not doing all the things that I could do to market it. So I felt it went pretty good. I have some comments here. What about ads that help to make a fan base build 1,000 people that are interested in you like an artist? Yeah. You could direct them to your webpage. You could direct them to a free download, and that gets an email for you, and you build up a fan base email list. That would certainly help. Stuff like that, absolutely. What about releasing through CD Baby? Tony says, I've released 15 albums through CD Baby, but had very little success. Well, and CD Baby is a tough go now. Talk about a company that should change its name. It's about time to change the name there, CD Baby, and you don't even basically sell CDs anymore, but it's just getting hard. I'll give people a CD and they'll look at it and say, that's awesome, and they'll look at it and they'll go, and they'll just hand it back. They don't even ask how much it is anymore. Or even if they can have it, I say, you can have it, and they're like, I don't listen to CDs, or I don't have a CD player. It's really getting that way. Yeah, and CD Baby for me, as far as if you're talking about using them as a distributor to Spotify and all that, they do a good job. I use them for all my artists just because they do one-off albums probably as good as anybody. But I'm not as happy with their tools. They have some tools, but they're mostly tools that you got to pay for. So I don't really like that. Arco says, I only worry about Spotify and YouTube. That's probably pretty smart, I would say. And Shane says, I get asked about physical CDs from church members, but then again, our membership is slightly older and internet is a challenge. Yeah. And I would bet if you made them, then they'd all disappear. It's hard to find people who want to take a CD home and listen to it. And it's also hard. That's why even when my last album, if I did make CDs for this, I would probably only make 100 CDs tops. And I recommend that to all my artists. I had to talk an old school artist I'm working with now down from making 2,500 CDs. He says, "Oh, I got 1,000 people who buy them right now." You always think that. And he did. I finally talked him down to 1,000. He's still doing 1,000 albums and he's making vinyl. But what are you going to do? So Tony says, it's easy to think that having your releases on over 150 platforms will help sell, but it's not that easy. Yeah, they make so little per stream. And plus, you're likely not doing anything to get people there. And this is a hard one to think about. But just because you have your releases on 150 platforms, how do people know that they are there? And so that's something you got to think about, Tony. You got to think about how you're going to get people to those platforms. And that was the whole point behind behind this. And I'm laughing at Arco's comment that CD Baby should change their name to Streamy Baby. Well, that, I think, folks, is the last thing that we need to talk about today. In marketing my album, if you have any more thoughts, please make sure you put them in the comments, put them in the stream here. I'll stay here for a few more minutes and then it's off to teach the kiddos. But I am happy with what I did. It didn't turn out like I thought it would. I mean, I did get, I was able to track the results. I knew I wasn't going to make my money back. I wasn't after that. I knew there was a lot of stuff I wasn't doing. And, but I knew using Facebook and Instagram ads work. And again, I'm fairly happy with the final results. And I think that this is the way. It's the way. It used to be that we would hire a radio programmer. It used to be that we would, to market our albums, do publicity. We would try to get on the radio. We would go to gigs and sell CDs. And all of those three things are just really in the past a little bit for us. It's not necessarily something that we do. And, so I think that we just have to be very careful with marketing these days. We're not going to be marketing in the same ways that we did. And I do think the Facebook and Instagram ads are good. Tony says, your tip about pricing on Pond 5 was excellent and it worked. Great. You're welcome. Glad that it worked. I have found with Pond 5 lately, I've put my stuff up to $9. I've actually put some stuff up at 25 that is, or actually, I can't remember, but when in certain seasons, Easter, I put those songs up a little bit and made a little extra. I had a very good month last month on Pond 5, whatever that means. And I'm going to do a video next week at this time. We're going to talk about my Pond 5 week, Pond 5 month last month. And it really was good. And not necessarily, well, income-wise too, because we got that big data sets drop. And so it's probably $100 month, but which if you can get that from Pond 5, that's amazing. But I'll talk about that next week and how I price on Pond 5. The sales from last month were pretty interesting. And then we need to talk about the data sets thing, and I'll be talking about that in another video. Arco said, I think you would get more results if you did it in a more planned way. For sure. I've got to be careful with the next push. The next push, the next album I release, there actually is an album coming out today. And I haven't even looked to see if it's out yet, but on Spotify, I have a new release of some songs from, for stock. And, that is coming out today. Let me see if I can find that and I'll show you guys. It's under my From the Moment music brand. I got too many brands. I have way too many brands, folks. And sometimes it's hard to even remember all my brands and not confuse them with other brands. But if we do look at, let me see if I can find it here. And I can announce my new release right here. And then probably in a few days, I'm going to do some advertising for that. I do see it. It's up. I'm going to share it here. It is on Spotify. And that's not it. I'm going to share it. And you can see it here at Spotify. It's called, drumroll please, World Party. Here's a little hint of what it sounds like, if it plays. Few different sounds. Gonna trigger content ID here. So it gives you an idea, a lot of different things from around the world, different kinds of sounds. And so that is the new album I have coming out. And I'm going to do some album marketing on that without showing people. In other words, instead of sending emails out and telling my list and telling my Discord, first, I think I'm going to do some push, because this is a brand new, if you saw that brand, this is a brand new brand, brand new brand, but it has just 2 albums on it that I've put out this year, moving forward, which is corporate, and then World Party, which is world stuff. And I'm going to start putting out all of my stock music here on Spotify and all the stores. But I think I'm going to try some advertising straight to that without telling anybody, without really, so I don't muddy up the waters. So Arco says, what was that instrument on the second track? I think it was some kind of Japanese guitar. So anyway, all right, well, that is about all I have for you guys today. Thanks so much for watching this stream, and I hope this has helped you in some way. If you have some thoughts, please let me know. I'll put the links down below to the Spotify album here in just a minute. I will also put in time markers for everybody watching this later. And I hope this has helped. Been great hanging out with you guys. Have a good day today and a good weekend. Always great to hang out here with you live, and also helps get a video out, so that's a good thing. So thanks so much for listening. I'm going to end the chat now. We'll talk to you next time. See you later, everybody. All right, bye-bye. Say bye-bye. Wave to the camera. You don't have a camera. I have a camera. Wave. Say bye, everybody. Don't see anybody saying bye. Say bye. Peace. Peace out. Good to see everybody. See you later. Bye-bye.